Hey folks, Nick here from another BookTube channel, and today I'll be reviewing Usher's Passing by Robert McCammon. 2023 is shaping up to not only be my year of McCammon, as this is the third book of his that I've read so far, it's also, I guess, my year of the House of Usher, as this is now the third book that I've read related to the original Edgar Allan Poe short story. I also read the actual short story itself. I'm not quite sure how that happened, but I'm not complaining as I've gotten to enjoy some really great books this year. Usher's Passing is the story of the House of Usher, which has stood for over a century as a multi-billion-dollar weapons manufacturing empire. Family patriarch Waylon Usher is on death's door, and so a successor to the family business must be chosen. Rix Usher has always been the black sheep of the family for basically his entire life, and has never wanted to be associated with the blood that he sees on the Usher family hands. He has lived away from Usherland, their sprawling estate near Asheville, North Carolina, for much of his life and is barely keeping his head above water, living as a horror writer writing under a pseudonym. When Rix is called back to the estate for the passing of the torch, he decides his next book should be a family history of the Ushers, with no skeleton left unburied. Meanwhile, in the mountains surrounding Usherland, 15-year-old New Tharp's younger brother is taken by a local cryptid known as the Pumpkin Man. Teaming up with newspaper publisher Raven Dunstan, it's discovered that the Pumpkin Man and his animal familiar Greedy Guts have been taking children off of the mountaintop and the surrounding area for over a century. Who will inherit the Usher fortune? Is the Pumpkin Man real, and can he be stopped? Can I get through this entire review without saying Usher, Usher? Let's find out. Usher's Passing is a really solid book, even if it does fall short of the previous books I've read by McCammon. I think the main reason I feel that way is that for much of the book, I wasn't sure what the endgame was going to be. McCammon packs a lot into these 400 pages, including monsters in the woods, telekinesis, mysterious illnesses, doomsday weapons, a kidnapping, family drama, like 3 different MacGuffins, and even more stuff. And I don't think I ever felt like any one of those things was the most important thing. It was all relevant, and it all fits together in the end, but while you're reading it through the first time, I just wanted one strong main thread to really pull me through the rest of it. That's not to say, though, that I wasn't intrigued by all these ideas. McCammon's character work is strong as always here, and his ability to juggle so many pins without dropping any is really impressive. Something that I really appreciate about McCammon's writing that I've noticed is his skill at drafting 2 characters with similar backstories, but wildly different outcomes. In mine, the comparison is between Laura and Mary, who were both flower children of the 60s, but went in vastly different directions afterward. In Usher's Passing, Rix and Raven are the ones that share a common bond, both being born into a family business. Rix, much to his chagrin, has Usher Armaments, whereas Raven inherited a family-run newspaper that has gone through generations, and she does so with gusto. Ironically, Rix rejects his family business to become a writer himself, strengthening that connection between him and Raven. I think it's interesting to see both sides of that same coin represented here, where we get to see the 2 extremes of a family inheritance. The choice to make Rix a writer has even more relevancy when you consider the Usher family relation to the actual Edgar Allan Poe. That's right, this book opens with an Usher family ancestor confronting the writer about his story, The Fall of the House of Usher, and its negative depiction of the family. So Rix joins the very profession of arguably the family's greatest enemy. There's a lot of layers to this choice. My favorite bits of the book were when Rix was digging into his family history, and rather than just telling us what he read about in old journals and newspapers, McCammon adds these transitions where Rix is able to actually see the events unfolding in his mind, and then we, as the reader, go into that and read the scene as though it were unfolding in real time. These diversions into the Usher history are like little short stories inside the main story, and instead of being distracting, they do actually add legitimate value to the overall narrative. It's very cool storytelling. An area of Usher's passing I wish was a bit more pronounced is the gothic atmosphere of it. The big, creepy house is a staple of gothic literature, and even though Usherland contains not one, but two houses that fit that description, I just never got the right vibe from them. Like I said, Usher's Passing is a solid book with a lot of cool ideas. If you are new to McCammon, I wouldn't recommend starting here, but definitely don't disregard it entirely. My arbitrary and subjective grade for Usher's Passing by Robert McCammon is 7 out of 10. Do with that what you will. If you've read this book, let me know your thoughts about it in the comments below. Thank you for spending some time with me today, but now it's time to get back to Usher. Damn it, I almost got through it.